Hey Kyra, how you doing? I am Mike, and I'm very excited to talk to you today. I am also excited that Justin sent you along. Justin is one of my best friends here at Blue Sky. We've been working together for over a decade. We started off together as lighting technical assistants, which is essentially a glorified render wrangler position. And since then, we've worked on a bunch of movies together, and I learned a lot from him, and hopefully, we bounce ideas off each other all the time. So this is really cool. Um, so I talked to him today. He said he had a chance to work with you. He thinks that you've got a great aesthetic eye, and I agree with that. And we just think that you need some more refinement as you move forward and start your career. So let me go ahead and turn off the volume here on the computer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through your demo reel, and at the end of it, I'm going to talk about some classes or a class at TDU that I think that you should take that would really help you out. But first things first, let's go through this. So title's totally fine. I'm not crazy about the italicized font. I usually look for like a nice, strong, bold font with this, but it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. No one's going to give you a job or not give you a job based on your font choice. But I like that it's straightforward. It's just your name, CG artist, lighting, and comp specialist. One thing that I always tell people about, and this is in every demo reel review, is that you should make sure that you are tailoring your demo reel to the job that you're looking for. So if it's a lighting specific job, you want to focus on the lighting side. If it's compositing, you want to make sure you're doing that. If it's live action, if it's visual effects like live action integration stuff, you want to focus on that type of work versus an all CG house like a Blue Sky or a Pixar or DreamWorks or something. Then you want to show them your entire CG stuff. So you just want to make sure that your reel is demonstrating the job that they're going to be hiring you to do. So first things first, we've got this first shot, which I like a lot. One of the things I will say about it is that these areas in here felt a little like when I first watched it through, it felt a little bit like things were popping. Like it didn't feel animated. It felt like there was a render artifact to it. So and I'm sure that aesthetic is carried out throughout this project. But I would say if we're just looking at an individual shot, it might be a good idea to lock that down so people don't think that there were mistakes happening. So I really like the setup of this. I like the way that you've structured this breakdown of your demo reel of this shot and then you're showing a build up from back to front. I think the environment looks really good. I think you're doing a really nice job with some of these elements to frame the character and really kind of bring all the focus in here towards the center. The one thing is that this individual character, as we turn around here, let's go forward. I really like how we're going through pockets of light. I think that stuff's really cool. So you've got some individual components, but like the big thing is that we're just kind of missing some general shaping on this character. As we look across from here to here, it feels very even, like it feels very flat and very even toned. You want to create some sort of volume or some sort of shaping as we're moving across, or similarly to how you've done it a little bit here in the trees. It's a little bit flat, but you start to see like this highlight pick up here. It'd be nice to get some more like kind of a rim side on the back end so you can create some nice visual shaping and light to dark fall off area. And I mean, right now when I look at this character, my eye is drawn kind of up here, like I'm drawn to the ears, specifically because they are the most color contrast difference to the background. So it's a very pink over very green. And then also my eye's drawn up here to the top because this is the brightest part of the image. And so we need to figure out a way to pull down this bright area so it's kind of back here behind the character, and we can allow the dark form of the character to pop off from that bright background. So again, like I think that all your components are here. I think we just need to kind of refine it and get it into a place where we can use the aesthetics to do this, to do some good work. This shot I think is really nice. I like some of these warm elements coming in here on this side. Cool elements over here. There's a little bit of fall off as we go across this way. And then, but again, and I like the stylized notion of the city. I like the moon. I just think that we can position things in a way a little bit better to help frame up this, to help frame up this character just a little bit more. And so we can get, let's see, let me zoom it out just a little bit. So like we've got this character kind of asymmetrically in this window, and I'm wondering, I actually think that that's okay. I would just like to see, because the character's shape, I mean, maybe we want to more literally put the moon like directly around the character and allowed the city to build up like this. It's just that kind of cutting the character off halfway through it, like having the moon cut off through the ears. Again, the eye is going to be drawn up this way as opposed to right here, which is where we want it on the character's head. But I do like that you're getting some nice rims here. You're picking up the character's shape. Now you're starting to get some visual shaping across the back. That's really good. Also some visual shaping here on these plants, which is so tough. So this shot I actually think is in pretty good place. I would just maybe try and create some more focus on the character there in the background. This shot, so I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of pan through between these two. So I really like this concept art, but some of the, and I also really like the way that you are displaying this for your demo reel, but some of the elements of the concept art are not making their way into the CG image. And in order to kind of really drive that point home to a recruiter or somebody looking to hire you, you want to show that you can take reference image and recreate it in CG, because that's what a lighting artist's job is, right? Like to take reference, analyze it, understand it, and translate it. And right now, I think that there's some elements that aren't quite lining up. Let's start with back over here, right? So you've got these values kind of coming off. Look at the value difference between, let's say, this versus this. So this inner glow on the mushroom roof versus the brightness back here, our eye's going to be drawn in more this way. But when we look at yours, our eyes push back this way, and now the inside of the mushroom isn't glowing as much as there is light bouncing up underneath, and that's a very different thing. Same thing with this nice little rim around the outside here. We're kind of missing that, and like there is some dark elements to these trees, but we're also getting some shaping in there. We're missing some of that shaping here. If you look at this house, I can actually probably get to the frame where we're swiping between the two. You can see that the concept art is feeling much cooler, where this feels much more yellow, this feels much more blue. And again, like looking at these bushes, you know, this is a really nice value with good shaping there, where this is a little bit dark and you're not getting that shaping on it. Looking at the river, there's more specular highlights here, kind of displaying their form and getting there. And we've also got this area back in here where we've got a little bit of a sharp shadow where otherwise we wouldn't be seeing it. So I think that what this demonstrates is that you have this ability to read and understand concept art. It's just we need to get you to the point where it's, I mean, it doesn't need to be in a perfect 1-to-1 pixel-to-pixel ratio, but some of the core concepts of it need to translate over. And the biggest one is just the overall color scheme, because again, this has got a much cooler feel to it than this one does. And again, if you look at the shaping on this house, you know, it's a little bit more coming in from the top here as opposed to straight in from the side. And then if you just kind of look at these windows, so we swipe across, like this is a little bit bright here, and a little bit blown out, and just some elements that we want to see. Now structurally, I like the way that both of these images are shaping up. And again, we could darken this area back in here a little bit more. Structurally, I really like the way this is shaping up. Again, we've got this dark foreground as a framing element. We've got the light kind of focusing our eye in there. We just need to really dial in and get those, you know, all of those elements working on the same plane. Like this breakdown, nice simple one, kind of a good understanding of what you're doing. This shot, I really like it a lot. I just think it's nice and simple and clean. I like the angle of the train. I like the fact that this is what we were talking about, like getting the bright point to happen directly behind the main element. I actually got nothing. I think this one's really, really nice. And I think you did a really good job. I love the way the rim kind of crawls across the train. I think that's really cool. Love the colors. Everything's playing together really well. You've got the dark values in the foreground. You're just doing a good job of directing the viewer's eye. This is a very pretty image. I would say just keep rolling with that. This guy as well, I mean, my attention's back here. I would like to do a little bit more to get some attention here on the character, get some more shaping, allow the character to stand against the background that frames her up so we can see her a little better. Because I actually missed her the first few times when I saw it, because I mean, granted, all my attention's on this thing, which is good, but I would expect a little bit like a kind of a 1-2 punch. Like you got the overall city and then focus here and focus here. And then another thing that you want to do with buildings like this, you're doing it a little bit here, but I would push it a little further just to get variation in the lights a little bit more. Like this section specifically kind of feels all monotone. This one isn't bad because it's kind of like the building lights themselves, where these are interior lights, which are different. And I think that, you're kind of getting it a little bit in here. So, definitely in here, like this looks good. So this type of variation over here as well, just to kind of make it feel like a big city. But the big thing is just getting the focus on the areas that we want. I like this idea for a shot. I always recommend people to do several different versions of the same environment to make them feel different way. I don't think that these are fully successful. Some of them are better than others. In terms of like this one, I'm not sure exactly where I'm supposed to look. There's like this rug is very flat. This one's nice. I'm not convinced that like this light feels like it's actually shining this way a little bit. But other than that, I feel like this one's in a pretty good spot. This is cool, but like the color of this light doesn't match up really with the color of that one, and it feels very different. I would like if that one was more like this color, then I think it would fall into line a little bit better. But overall, I think that's. I mean, we're getting now into your the weaker shots. Like this one, I actually feel is your weakest work, and it's a shame that it's the last one on the reel, because generally speaking, you want to put your best work first, your second best work last, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like in the middle there. Because and this is just a general rule of thumb, you want your audience to end on a good note. And the reason why I'm saying that this is the weakest one is because this is the first time that you're really getting a good opportunity to demonstrate good character lighting and strong character lighting. And because the rest of them, the characters are either small or abstract or a little bit different than you would like when you're talking about like LucasArts, like an aesthetic that they would go for. So this is your chance, and I think that there's some problems here with this. And again, it's some compositional stuff. Like the biggest one to me is just getting the eyes to look right. Like the sclera, the white part of the eye, looks glassy, almost metallic. And we want to center a ding light either like right here on each eye, and you kind of just want one. You've got multiple going on there. There's just not a lot. The character's skin looks a little bit grayed out. We want to really punch that up. There's not a lot of contrast in the character here. We want to do that. I mean, the caustics on the glass are really cool, but just like there's some elements. And this character as a whole isn't really a lot, it's not the most well constructed character. Like here, it feels like he's also just like floating off the ground. So I think that this one is where, and allow me to switch gears a little bit and say that this is where we have our opportunity now. So overall, I think that you have some really strong environment work. Like I think this is a really strong environment. I think that this one is a great environment. I really like where you're going here. I think this one just needs tweaks. This environment looks great. So I think your environment work is really, really strong. I think where you're lacking is your character work. I think you need to learn to learn to manipulate what we like to say are the 3 main focal lighting points, which are directing the viewer's eye. So getting that eye in the right place by creating composition through light and dark values to get the viewer to focus on what we need him or her to look at. We want to create visual shaping. So again, areas like this that are flat, we want to make sure to find some sort of shaping in there. And again, there's going to be different aesthetics and some abstract stuff and more photoreal stuff. But in all of them, you're going to want visual shaping because like flat things just kind of are a little bland and uninteresting. And then the last one is we want to create mood. So you've gotten the mood down pretty well with these different color schemes, and so the good thing is that you certainly have a good understanding and basis of light. We just need to have you work a little more and keep building through these concepts. I can safely say that you are much further along than I was at your point coming out of school, and I think that we just need to refine it because this stuff is hard, right? Like it's not something that happens overnight, and it's not something that you can do once and you'll get it. I know it took me years of doing this, and I was fortunate enough to have a very good instructor, a very good mentor who She was her name was Bridget Gaynor. She was at Rhythm and Hughes for a long time, and she gave me very honest feedback on my work. And that's what I try and bring to the table here with you, is that I know, and I've been there in this process where you're out of school and you're looking for a job and you're so close, but you keep missing out on opportunities. So what I promise is, if you decide to take a TDU class, I will be there with you every step until we get you that job. I will help you along the way with as many iterations, with as many different shots as you want, and then we'll go from there. And we've done this a lot. We just had one of our students get a job at DreamWorks. We have another one up at Sony. We've got students of your caliber, of your talent level, getting jobs in the industry. So I'm confident that we can get you across the finish line. So I will send you a couple links. We've got our character lighting course, which I think would be really good for you. And then additionally, we have our applying and getting your job in the field. So this one is different than any other course that I have ever taken or seen anywhere else. This is us teaching you how to interview, how to negotiate your salary, how to apply for jobs, and then once you get in the industry, because you will get in the industry, how you're going to thrive from there. So my recommendation would be those would be the two classes, because I think you have some good concepts of the environments and some other stuff, because I know that funds are an issue, and that's totally fine. And we'll go from there. So let's take a look. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, please email me. I'll be happy to work with you. And keep going, keep making stuff, keep working with Justin. It's all good stuff. And I look forward to seeing what you can do and working with you soon. All right. Talk to you later.